I am obsessed. This book, this author is so underrated. I need to do a video because this bitch has changed the game for me. Today we're doing a romance recommendation video, but with a little bit of a twist. I'm doing an author edition today. So last year I started a new series where I talk about an author and all the books that I've read from that author, why I like the books, if I didn't like the books, why I don't like the books, and just kind of dedicate a video to an author. So I've done T.L. Swan, I've done Amo Jones. Now I've got to do the queen of gothic romance, the queen of writing romances that penetrate your fucking soul and change your life. When I fall in love with a book, I fall hard. And when I fall in love with an author, I low-key fangirl, you know what I mean? Like, I get obsessed. I will slide into your DMs. Like, I will try to befriend you, because I'm obsessed with the way that you write. To me, this author is super underrated, one of the most underrated authors I've ever come across. Her writing is brilliant, her plots are insanely good. She is so creative, and everything she's written that I have read, I have just loved wholeheartedly. So if you didn't know by the title, I'm talking about Nicole. I'm gonna butcher her last name, I already fucking know. Fiorina? If that's not correct, I do apologize. I'm terrible at last names. And names in general. Now, I don't know a lot about this author, but I do know that she's only got a couple of books. I'm pretty sure she's only been writing or publishing her books over the past couple of years, so she is pretty fresh on the scene. I don't see anyone recommend her romances, and it's honestly mind-boggling. Like, I don't understand. I really don't understand. I stumbled across her randomly one night. It was 11:30 at night. I was on my Kindle on my phone, like the app, and the little section of the Kindle said, like, your next read or whatever. And there was this book cover called Stay With Me, and I fell in love with the book cover, and I clicked it, and it was all over Red fucking Rover. Stayed up all night reading that shit. Never had read anything like this in my entire life. So, without further ado, let's get into Nicoles Books, my favorites, and why I think that she is one of the best authors I've ever stumbled across. Alright, so I literally just mentioned this book in the intro, but this is the paperback that I own right here. This is book 1 of the Stay With Me series, titled Stay With Me by Nicole Fiorina. Butchered again. The one thing that dragged me in about this book is the cover. I'm someone that is such a cover whore. Like, I do judge a book by its cover, and I don't particularly like book covers that have like people on it. I prefer book covers like this. It's so fucking pretty. It's one of the most prettiest books I've ever seen in my entire life. So, as I said, it was 11:30 at night. I stumbled across this and I started it, and it honestly blew my fucking mind. I'd never read a plot like this before, and it was just insanely good. It was intense, it was emotional, it was dark, it was gothic. It also warmed my heart and broke my soul and gave me all the feels that I enjoy when I'm reading. So Stay With Me is about Mia. She's extremely troubled. I believe she's in her early 20s, maybe her late teens. She actually struggles from like mental health and mental illness, and she doesn't feel her emotions. It's kind of like the Vampire Diaries, where you flick the switch and you don't feel anything. That's her. She's really reckless, she's always getting into trouble, she doesn't like feel anything, and she's just a hot mess. She ends up committing a crime, and instead of going to prison or a psych ward in the States, she gets sent to a boarding school slash prison thing. So unique, something that I've never read before, over in the UK. So this place that she gets sent to is kind of like a halfway house. It's like a boarding school, but not, and it's like a prison, but it's not. There's a place that houses a bunch of kids between the ages of like 16 and 22, I think it is, and all the people that are in this boarding school type of place have committed a crime, or have suffered from mental illness, and it's like their first offense, and they are worthy of going there instead of straight to prison or a psych ward. This boarding school is very dark, like the aesthetic, it's kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's dark, gothic vibes. The people, like the kids that stay at this place, are batshit. A lot of them anyway, not all of them, but some of them have been through certain traumatic experiences in their life. Some of them are drug addicts. It's a whole situation. I loved the aesthetic of this book and the whole setup of this like boarding school. Phenomenal. Mia attracts Ollie, who is a very damaged man. I believe Ollie is 21 maybe, and yeah, he is beautiful. He's one of my favorite book boyfriends I've ever come across in my entire life. There's so much depth to him. Oh, one of those men that just have a heart of gold, but he's just so damaged. And I love that shit, bitch. There's definitely a push and pull between Ollie and Mia. Mia doesn't want to feel her emotions, and Ollie makes her feel something that she didn't know existed inside of her. And it is so intense. I just want to say right now, the one thing I love about Nicole's writing is her accuracy. Does that make sense? Like, there's a scene in this book where they take drugs, which no one really writes about, and it's just so shit that they don't. I don't know what they take. I don't know if it's like a pinger, ecstasy. I don't know if it's like MD or Molly. I don't know. But they take something, and I'm not kidding you. The way that she wrote Mia on drugs, I felt like I was on drugs. I was like, oh my gosh, she's done it so fucking well. That's what it feels like. So if you haven't done drugs before and you want to know what it feels like, read that scene, bitch, and it will fucking make you feel like you're on them. I honestly thought it was so accurate, and that was something that I loved. So obviously this is book 1 to Mia and Ollie's story. And then we have book 2, which is Even When You're Gone. And this is also about Mia and Ollie. This book is heartbreaking. The extension of their love fucks with your emotions. Again, this is just an extension of their relationship and the trauma, toxicity, and all the conflict that happens in their life at this boarding school. Now this, I believe, is more focused on Ollie and his issues, where Stay With Me is more about Mia and her issues. Ollie, baby, even in this book when he's a badass and even when he is doing terrible things, you still know that this boy, this man, is beautiful at heart. Oh my god, this character, I cannot get over it. And then you've got book 3, which is the last installment of the Stay With Me series. At the end of Even When You're Gone, shit gets really crazy. Like, this is when the plot twists happen. Like, shit that I didn't even see coming. Stuff that blew my fucking mind, and I was just sitting there like, sorry sir, what? It continues on in Now Open Your Eyes, and this kind of wraps up the series and gives you all the conclusions that you're looking for. Another beautiful cover, one of my favorite covers. You've probably seen it on my Instagram if you follow me. I like to take photos of this book series particularly quite often because I just think it's so beautiful. Even though this book series is so emotional and packed with so much drama and conflict and just crazy plot twists, there is definitely steam. Okay, don't get it twisted. Just because Ollie is a fucking beautiful, damaged man doesn't mean he doesn't fuck good, mate. Like, this book, oh bitch, it gets you in your feels, but it also gives you the flutters, hun, that we all search for. I can't talk about this series enough. It is phenomenal. If you haven't read it, I need you to right now. I don't know why people don't talk about this series. I really don't know why. Go on Amazon, buy the paperbacks because they're beautiful. If you're not a paperback bitch, go on Kindle. I'm pretty sure it's all on unlimited. I will link these fucking books down below so you know where to go because they are amazing. I don't know why. I honestly want to contact all the bookstagrammers, all of the booktubers, and be like, why are you not reading this? Like, why does no one talk about this? Like, why isn't Nicole like a best-selling author? Like, let me know. She's one of the best authors I've read. I said it. I've crowned her queen. This series made me fall in love with Nicole and her writing. But the next book I'm going to talk about is so dear to my heart that I could honestly get emotional. Now, I don't own this book in paperback form just yet. It's on its way. Nicole actually is sending it to me, a signed copy, and I cannot wait to own it. I'm going to cry, and I'm going to do a full tour of the book when I get it in the mail on Instagram because I'm so in love with this book. I again, don't say this lightly, this is hands down my favorite book I have ever read. And that is like huge, huge statement to make. I've never found a book like this before. I've never read a book like this before. It is everything and more. Like, it is my heart, my mind, my soul. It is a piece of me. Before I tell you guys the name of this book, I need to let you know something about me. I love anything magical. I love witches specifically. I have had a connection with like the whole witchy poo bullshit since I was a kid. Charmed was my favorite show. My favorite show growing up, and still to this day, I watched all the seasons, like the old Charmed, the original Charmed, before they tried to remake it and it failed. Every 2 years or so, start to finish. I love that show so much, you don't understand. Like, that show raised me. I used to be out in my backyard making spells, bitch. I made my own book of shadows. Anything witch related, I've always loved. The Craft is one of my favorite movies. Practical Magic is one of my favorite movies as well. Like, you name it, I've watched it. I love witches, and I dead set think in a past life I was one. I have a huge connection to Wicca. I'm all about it, bitch. Like, I even read tarots. I do my own tarot cards. Like, I've been in this shit for fucking years. It's just not something that I put on camera. So when I came across this book, it just spoke to me. It spoke to me in a different way than any other book has ever spoken to me. And it's hands down the best thing I've ever read. And I cannot wait to read the second book. So the book I'm talking about is Hollow Heathens. You need to read this. Like, you need to fucking read this. Do not skip over this. I don't care if you don't read fantasy. I don't care if you don't read paranormal. I don't care if you're not into witches. You need to read this. The aesthetic of this book is insane. The world of Weeping Hollow Nicole created is beyond magical. Dude, within the first couple of pages, I felt like I was getting drawn into the book and I was one of the main characters. I've never experienced that on this level with a book before. Everything, the coven aspect, the town of Weeping Hollow, from the outfits the characters wear. If you're into like fall, like American fall with like pumpkins and shit like that, it's not like that here. But I've always been fascinated by that, and I've always wanted to experience like fall in America, and this book gave it to me, even though I'm in the middle of summer right now. Oh my god, like pumpkin spice lattes. I've never had a pumpkin spice latte, but I want to have one, and this book gave it to me. It's just, I have no words. You have to read it to understand this world of Weeping Hollow and the whole situation. Like the way she set up the covens, their powers, the connections between each character, the plot twist, the storyline. It is brilliant. So talented. So talented. Now, let's spice this witchy poo shit up with a fucking hardcore romance, mate. Like, this is my jam. I feel like Nicole has awoken something in me. Like, I want to write a witchy poo romance now. Like, I honestly am so obsessed with this concept right now. It's completely eaten me up. Like, I read this 2 weeks ago, and every single day I wake up in the morning and I'm still thinking about it. Like, that's how powerful this book was. So it's a big book, guys, and it's very, very detailed. But the one thing I loved about Nicole's writing is she didn't write it too complex where I lost what was going on. I could follow every step, every twist along the way, and I knew what was going on the entire time. So it's about this girl who was basically raised by her nanny, and her nanny used to tell her stories at night about this town called Weeping Hollow. This girl just thought Weeping Hollow was like a fairy tale. Years go by, she's on her own, and she starts getting letters from her grandpa who lives in Weeping Hollow. So she decides to go and find this town and go and help her grandpa, because apparently her grandpa is dying. They warn her that once you enter Weeping Hollow, that you can never get out until the town is finished with you. I want you guys to imagine like founding families, like kind of like Vampire Diaries, like how their town's set up, but they're not like weird, like they're human, you know what I mean? Because I don't like beasts and stuff that aren't human. They're human, and they're just witches that belong to covens in a witchy poo town that's cloaked from normal society. But normal humans, like mortals, live in this town too. Anyway, she's just trying to put all the pieces of her life together and figure out who she is, and she finds out all this crazy stuff about her family being, you know, witches, and they come from this town, and she just didn't know. But she catches the eyes of a man who is masked. He always wears a mask. There's a whole backstory behind his mask. And Julian is very kind of not similar to Ollie, but they definitely are compatible, I tell you that much. Julian has become one of my favorite male characters I've ever come across. He's definitely a alpha, but in a subtle way. He's someone who wants to love and wants to be good, but he's just been told his whole entire life that he is bad. So he tries to wear that badge of honor, you know, and he tries to wear the armor of the bad guy, but it just doesn't suit him. I can't tell you anymore because the plot is so detailed and there's so much about it, but oh my god, also to do with like the covens and their magic. Think like Vikings. Like, I mean like old school, like fucking Wicca man. Like, that is what it is. Earthy fucking like Wicca baby, like original shit. Oh, I just can't even do it. The details of certain things in this book are just mind-blowing, and I'm telling you right now, you need to fucking read this. You need to read this. I posted it on my Facebook page, and so many people have read it because of me, and they love it. Like, it is insane. This is a series. She's coming out with book 2. I'm not sure when. I might have to hound her to find out, because as soon as I closed the book, I was like, I need more of that. Like, I can't live without that. Like, she literally wrote what's in my heart and in my soul and created it, and now it's a story. Like, I love it so much. It is insane. Even down to Fallon's job, the main character, she's a mortician. What? Like, yes. It's spooky vibes, but not scary vibes. There's suspense and mystery, there's romance, there's drama, there's conflict. Everything that I love is in this book, just dusted with a little bit of Wicca, baby. Give me the craft, right? Give me witchcraft. I want to know all about it. I'm here for it. I've spoken to Nicole before on Instagram, and she's really nice, and I just, you know, I want to give her some hype because I feel like she's under fucking rated, and I can't wait to see where her writing goes, see her evolve, and support her, because I truly believe in her creativity and just the aesthetic of her books, the aesthetic of her. She's amazing. So yeah, please check her out. I'll link everything down below, and yeah, that's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, thumbs it up. Let me know in the comments below what author you want to see next. I think I want to do Penelope Douglas. She's been on my mind, so yeah. Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before leaving, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.